instructions are placed around the outer edge of the map, called marginal information. All maps are not the same, so every time you use a different map, examine the marginal information carefully. The sheet name, the map's named after the most prominent cultural or geographic feature. Whenever possible, the name of the largest city on the map is used. Military map contains grid squares that measure 1,000 by 1,000 meters. Always read right on the vertical lines or north-south grid lines, then up on the horizontal or east-west grid lines. You hear on the radio sometimes that when guys out here will give grid coordinates, they'll say, give the numbers and say easting, and then they'll give a couple numbers and say northing. All that does is add to the confusion, because you always read right then up. You don't need to say easting and northing, because it's always right.
And easting's always forced.
Yes. You don't need to say that. All that does is add extra words into the radio transmission. The number of digits that you give when you give a grid coordinate will determine the accuracy and how close that it gives you or places you on the map. If you give a 4-digit grid coordinate, that will get you to within 1,000 meters on the map. Get you 2 digits to the left, or east-west, 2 digits north and south. A 6-digit grid coordinate will locate you to within 100 meters. An 8-digit will get you to within 10 meters. 10-digit grid coordinate will get you to within 1 meter. But I don't know anybody's eyes that are good enough to get you to within 1 meter on any of the maps that we have. Second page, a ridge. Ridges are easy to find. All that is a series of hilltops that are connected to each other. A ridge line may extend for many miles, may be winding or quite straight. A ridge often serves as an ideal reference line during both day and night. That's kind of hard to see there in that picture, but it's below left. A saddle. Saddles are easy to find. It almost looks like a little area between a pair of fried eggs. It's a dip or a low point between 2 areas of higher ground. Saddle is not necessarily the lower ground between hilltops. It may be simply a dip or a break between a level or a ridge crest. If you're in a saddle, there is high ground in 2 opposite directions and low ground in all other directions. Saddle is normally represented by an hourglass or figure-8 shaped contour lines. The saddle will often provide a suitable checkpoint or a steering mark above right. A spur is a short, continuous sloping line, normally jutting out from the side of a ridge or a hill. In a spur, the ground slopes down in 3 directions and up in one. It's kind of a little bit of a hillside on a hillside. A spur may be chosen as a checkpoint or a steering mark. You know what I'm talking about when I'm saying steering mark? Okay, when you're doing your route planning, if you pick a spur, like on the lower left hand on the middle set of pictures here, if you see that spur there, if you pick your land navigation route and you say, okay, we want to get to that spur, then we'll change direction and say we've got a heading of 270 degrees. We want to stay at 270 degrees till we hit the spur on that hilltop. Then we'll change to a heading of 184 degrees. So that's your steering mark. The circle is divided into 360 degrees. So if you travel around a circle in a complete 360 degrees, so then you started around, or you've gone completely around the circle, and you need to start over again. You don't, say for example, If you had 15 degrees to 350 degrees, it would be expressed as 5 degrees, not 365 degrees. Say true north is a line from any point on the Earth's surface to the North Pole. Magnetic north. The Earth has a magnetic field that is close, but it's not exactly on the North Pole. The magnetic north shifts. It slowly moves and migrates around the northern part of the Earth. Grid north. The baseline is established by using the vertical grid lines on the map. And that does not change. And it's measured from grid, the magnetic north is measured from the grid north. When using grid north and magnetic north as baseline, you need to understand the difference between the grid azimuth and magnetic azimuth. The grid azimuth is an angle measured in clockwise direction from grid north. That gets confusing for a lot of people because what you're going to need to learn is how to subtract your magnetic north, what your compass is going to show, from your grid north. That's not going to be covered today. That's going to be more of an advanced map reading. Okay, a back azimuth is the opposite direction of an azimuth. It's the same as doing an about face. To obtain a back azimuth from an azimuth, okay, now you add 180 degrees if the azimuth is 180 degrees or less. But what that means is you can't have a direction of greater than 360 degrees or less than 0 degrees. So if you have an action or an angle or an azimuth of 180 degrees or less, you would add 180 to it. So if you have, say you were headed due east, 90 degrees, and you want to know what the opposite or the back azimuth to that, it's easy. You just add 180 degrees to that, 270, which is west. If you don't open it far enough, it will not allow the dial to rotate. It has to be opened at least 50 or 45 degrees, or the dial will not unlock. You have to have it open far, at least 45 degrees or farther, before the little dial will rotate freely. If it doesn't rotate freely, you can sit there and spin all the way around, and every direction will be north. This is important. Many techniques have been developed for determining how many steps it takes the average infantryman to walk a given distance. Predominant among these techniques is the 100-meter pacing course. A distance of exactly 100 meters is marked on the ground. For example, how far must you travel on a leg of a patrol? You must convert this distance into the number of steps you must take to cover that distance. But if you think about it, when you're on patrol out in the woods, how often are you taking full-pace steps? You're not walking. You're taking shorter steps. So take on average kind of a shorter step while you're out here doing the pace count.
20,
130.
130.
Okay, take your protractor.
Go 130 degrees.
No, take your protractor, put it on your map at that spot. Mark out 40 paces. Because you did a 90. Instead of going the way we had to go, we had to make a 90 around the pond.
Okay, so.
Take this protractor.
Yeah.
Can't show gone.
Okay.
Find your spot where you were, where you started.
Where do we start at?
Right there. Your trash can back there. Yeah.
So
what the azimuth you said your back azimuth was?
130.
130 degrees.
130 degrees. So
Mark 130 degrees from where that is. with your string. Whatever you gotta use.
Don't have a string.
Whoa.
We use a straight edge. You know what? We'll improvise. Should hold that paper.
Sure.
Didn't I give you my compass, Harvey?
No.
Well, it's probably still on the table.
Oh, I gave it to the kid.
Okay, so
The kid's got my
130.
protractor.
130. There's 130.
From the trash can. See where you need to be. Know what you need to do.
130. Okay, lined up.
Okay, see your direction?
Yep.
Now remove all your stuff. Remove your stuff.
Okay.
Keep your thing. And we said we went about what, 40 paces?
Yeah.
So that puts us in that mark. Mark that spot. Okay.
God damn it.
It's about 40 meters or 40 of my paces.
From where we were.
From where I was. Okay. So now you're gonna turn 90. See, we went this way. Now I'm turning, I was going like this.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna turn 90 degrees. Hear me? You follow what I'm doing?
So this is the new place where we're at, and we're
This is where you're standing right here.
Yes,
Because you had to go down the
yes,
pond.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going this way, a straight 90 from that trash can. See that trash can is directly behind me.
Yeah. Yep. Why are we going that way, though?
I know I don't need, the pond and everything's out of my way. Right?
Yeah, right.
Turn 90 degrees back.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna walk, how many meters did I need to go to get to my first point?
150.
It was about 150 meters.
Approximately,
or so.
yeah.
Okay, so 150 meters from this point.
Yeah.
At the new,
I get it.
You
I
shoot
get it.
a
We
new-
went around the obstacle.
Yes.
We
you
got
shoot a new degree.
Yeah.
You said you're on what?
I was shooting 100, 105.
Take it.
Got it?
Yes, there it is.
Let's just go and take a look at it. Here we are.